All right.
Hello. Hello. I was like, Chris is staying really still there, but he was actually frozen for a second. I'm like, what the hell's going
for me.
on?
You were frozen.
We were frozen. Let it go. Just let it go. Just let it.
Just like Acolyte.
Just like Acolyte.
We let it go.
The Acolyte was canceled, everybody, and everybody's been talking about it, and the cope has been wonderful to see. Everything, all of this has been fun. You know, it is a little disappointing we're not going to get a season 2 and all the great videos on YouTube and elsewhere that will go along with it. But ultimately, it's a win for humanity. It's a win for fandom. It's a win for good storytelling and good taste. You know, it's like even Disney Star Wars has shame. We found out that it actually exists. And it also, it says one thing. The show was doing really bad. Really bad.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it stays on the platform. But it also exposes all the other shows like Star Trek Discovery and Rings of Power. Like, they're doing bad too. It's just Disney's in a situation where they don't have money to burn anymore. Amazon has money to burn. So we're gonna discuss that. Maybe go over a Mary Sue article. Look at a video clip of some cope that was put together by Stephanie. Steph, my nerdy home. Fellow San Antonian. And then a little later, I'm going to discuss the possibility of AA going woke. Now, I usually don't discuss AA issues other than like my participation, but we'll get into it. It's a big I'm not sure, but it's a red flag. It's definitely a red flag. So we will discuss that. Hi, Chris.
Hey, what's happening, Gary?
Not much.
There's, you know what's weird? We're not talking about Alien Romulus. There's like nothing. Well, it came out, and some people, it's mixed reaction. I'd say mixed. I'm surprised how many people just say, "Hey, I had fun," and by the way, I rewatched all the other Alien movies over the weekend, and I don't think it's the worst. Honestly, Alien 3, I know people
Alien 3 is a well put together film with a fucked up premise that I hate.
I hate the way it begins. Can't recover from it.
Nope.
Resurrection is interesting. I like Ripley's character in it. She's not Ripley. She's in a clone 200 years later. It's interesting performance. So, and Covenant is just god awful. So I don't know. Maybe Romulus may not be the worst of the Alien films. What's weird is we're kind of done with it. We got big news that you teased. We'll get into with those stories, but Alien. The best thing about it is the bucket. I gotta be honest. This is like I bought this bucket at AMC. It's going for stupid money on eBay. It's weird.
Alien is a uber nerdy franchise, right? Yeah. You have to be an uber nerd to be into it. An uber nerd from a certain time. You would either, it's of its time. It's an 80s it's a really old franchise that they ruined because they explained the alien. It's like going back and explaining Jaws. It's just stupid to do that. You never should have explained the space jockey. Never. All you have to do is have these things mysteriously showing up and killing it. And then you could let your imagination do the rest. It's just like Joker does not officially have an origin and never should ever officially have an origin. Ever. He just, one day when Batman suited up for the first time, the Joker was just some catatonic thing that turned on to be the balance to Batman. Like, that's it. That's all you need to know. A trickster god. Whatever. There's no explanation. You just have the aliens being this unstoppable force that humans have to do extraordinary thing, and a lot of them have to die to fight. And eventually it should have come to Earth. That's it. If you really wanted to do something, or adapt one of the many great Alien comic books from Dark Horse. Cannot recommend them enough. Like, they're so good. Alien vs. Predator is one of the first comic books, not the first, but one of the first to be regularly digitally colored, by the way. Just a little trivia there.
Yeah, but it's the saddest thing is the aliens just became less and less scary because they were there and you saw them all the time. And that's the problem with Romulus. I just want to say how much I appreciate X-Ray Girl and our pre-show conversations that no one should ever hear. No one should ever hear them. They should never be released to the public.
If it ever gets released,
it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Awful.
It's mostly about my feet. I'm kidding.
Well,
kidding.
So thank you, X-Ray Girl. For
You're very welcome.
Encouragement, your support, your insight, and your observations. Thank you. Exactly.
Oh my God, that was like the burp I have all the time.
I burp all
strikes of cough. Hey, X-Ray Girl repping Bucky's there. That's pretty
Bucky's
good.
And Nerdrotic.
Nice.
I feel like a Texan right now.
It's all about capitalism,
I'm
baby.
So cold. I kid you not. Texas ruined me. Texas and Florida, because anytime it gets below 23 Celsius, which would
no one
be
knows what that temperature is. No one knows.
The fuck's a kilometer?
Fahrenheit. It's like I get so cold, and right now outside it's 57.
In Fahrenheit?
Yeah, in Fahrenheit.
Yeah, tomorrow. Oh no, today's I think going to be our hottest day here. It's going to be 106.
I want to be in that. I'd rather
92 right now is lovely. Absolutely lovely.
So jealous.
God.
My grass isn't going to like it, but
yeah.
So I
but
watered
thanks for observing my beaver on here.
Yeah. I love your beaver.
I never said that. For the record.
The Bucky's beaver. I mean.
Hail Bucky's, the citadel of capitalism, the foundation of the free market. we love it. We love it. So the Acolyte was canceled. Chris and I were actually talking about something else. And then Mahler dipped in on my DMs and said, do you see this shit? And he was throwing up the cope that was happening already. I didn't even know. And I was relaxing, dude. I'm like, I just put up my Alien review and whatever. I'm like, oh shit, I got to make a video. So like, I got to get one more Acolyte video in. I can't believe it. So yeah, did that one in about an hour and a half. And it was nuts, but it was so much fun watching the cope. And we talked about it yesterday, and other people have talked about it too. So the minute percentage of people who actually like this show, who genuinely watched it, and then found out there wasn't enough of them, ironically enough, after making a video saying there's more of us than there are of you. And then, it ends up that that's not true. It ends up that if you do talk about something, there's this thing called word of mouth, and it cuts both ways. Always has, always will. And people start talking about it. And the Acolyte hit the zeitgeist like I did not expect. I thought it would be the Marvels of the Acolyte or of Star Wars. That's what I was saying, but I didn't think it would be bigger. Like this was bigger. Like far bigger. And that's saying something. The MCU's biggest failure was pretty big news at the end of the last year. And it was also failing with Doctor Who at the time. And then we had the Acolyte failing with Doctor Who and totally overshadows it. And it hits international news. Like it's nuts. The clips hit international, like clips on Twitter. And these are impressions. These aren't views. Okay. So that's people scrolling by it. Let's be real on that one. Written in the millions, multi-millions. Every trailer being ratioed to oblivion. Every freaking clip. It's the Rings of Power all over again, except with Star Wars. And we finally saw the Star Wars fans do what they should have done a long, long time ago. Speak up. Say this is bullshit. Bless the Tolkien fans. 5 minutes into the Rings of Power. Like, fuck no. No. So it took them a little while, but the vast majority of people hated this show. And because the vast majority of people hated this show, Disney just couldn't ride on the brand like they've been doing for a decade, and nobody watched it, and it got canceled. But is it because of critics? No, it's because the people didn't watch, talked about it, and then mocked it into oblivion. Like mockery works. Mockery works. Memeing works. That's why it's a very powerful tool, and that's why. And you have to be really good at it. You have to be generally pretty funny, and you have to be able to take some shit. And it all stems from what the internet is. But memeing is a powerful thing. By the way, it predates the internet. But it absolutely is a powerful tool if you genuinely care about this stuff. You know, like Chris and I could spend the rest of this show talking about Alien. We absolutely could. Quite easily.
Sure. Yeah, easy.
We had a real BBC. I can't even remember we were supposed to talk about D23 or something like that. We argued about Deadpool and Wolverine for an hour, right?
Yeah, I love that conversation. It was so good.
Because it might be hard for some people to grasp. I know not you in the chat, you fine nerdy chat. It is hard for people to grasp how nerdy people can get. It's hard for them to get their head around it. So they still, to this day, despite, nerds running the planet at this point, and honestly, I kind of wish nerds would just go back. We could go back to the niches of the world. That would be my preference. Don't really like this mass media, mass market nerddom at all. Big Bang Theory nerddom. But yeah, we could talk about this shit all day, and we care, and it gets dismissed. It gets dismissed a lot. It gets Liz Wheeler, dipshit over at The Blaze. Decided she needed some attention and said, gamers are unattractive, put up some stupid graph, and that's being passed around. She was stupid. She was trying to get attention. She's just some conservative fucking bimbo who wants to stand out in front with all the, the endless line of conservative bimbos and say something and try to be female Matt Walsh, who did do something funny last night, by the way.
I saw that. It was hilarious. He was on CNN. And then walking around. Oh, I have a screener for that movie. Am I Racist?
Oh, good.
I can't wait to talk about it.
But yeah, it's still in this sphere, and it's on that other side, that thirst trap side, that aren't real fucking nerds. They just want to flick their bean to shit. They're just fucking weird, okay? And there's always been that aspect. Furries have always been at Comic-Con. As long as they stayed the fuck in their corner and away from me, I was fine.
There's always, Gary, I wanted to make a bingo card of every, or maybe a set of trading cards with the kind of people you see at cons.
Oh.
Always someone in a wheelchair, there's always a guy in a kilt. I don't care where you go.
A battle kilt. It's always got knives in it. And that is, and quite frankly, he thinks, and he might be the most masculine dude at the con. I mean, that guy's just walking around like no fucks to give with this battle kilt on. And I'm like, I respect that.
I respect it. It's never a feminine guy in a kilt. It's always these manly guys, and they with their bat wangers walking around. I mean, yeah.
So there's a scene in Silicon Valley season 1 where Gavin Belsom, the CEO of Hooli, which is Google, is with his namaste emotional advisor who just agrees with him all the time, which is kind of funny. And he's looking at his employees, and he's all, they always travel in packs. It's 5 guys. There's 1 Indian guy, 2 fat guys with beards, and a skinny guy. And then and it's all packs of 1 Indian guy, a skinny guy, and 2 fat guys in beards. And, he's sitting there profiling his own employees. You just made me think of that. That's exactly what we should do, because that will be a con. There's the family with there's always the family with the stroller the size of an SUV.
Oh, like a wagon?
With fucking kids on it, with kids in it who are old enough to shave. I mean, it makes you crazy, dude.
Stupid. And now they have iPads and leashes on them. It's really stupid.
Dude.
I can't stand it. But anyways,
yeah,
those things. Have you ever been hit in the back of the bottom of your foot? Your Achilles
by somebody in their little roller car? Yes.
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 Or there's someone who always you're walking and they hit the back of your tennis shoe and I wear Converse a lot and and it's so stupid where the back of your heel comes out of your shoe.
Yeah.
And you're like, you look back, dude, walk at a reasonable pace.
Or look where you're walking. You can't. There's sensory overload in there, so people are walking like this, right?
Right. They're not paying attention. Or this is my other pet peeve. I get walk rage. You know, people get road rage. I actually don't get road rage. I walk around, when I drive, I put on a podcast, music. I always leave.
Put on a podcast, the best podcast. You sound like you were going into a Trump impression there.
I relax because I leave insanely early for everything. But when I'm walking and you'll see a group of people stop in an aisle where lots of people are, and they're like, oh, hey, and they have to do the dumb hug. Oh, let's hug. Oh, what do you guys do? They start their conversation while we have to wait for them to be done. Pull over to the side, have your conversation, get out of my way.
Dude,
this is the new second.
And then there's the people who walk like they're the Bee Gees. It's like just walking down, taking out half an aisle. This happens at fucking parks all the time. If you go to parks, you know what I'm talking about. People who walk like they're the fucking Bee Gees. Dude, stagger, okay? Stagger.
Or like when you get off a plane and someone gets off, everyone's getting off, they stop to look around. Or someone who gets to the top of an escalator and stops to look around. This is a new segment Gary and I are doing. It's called
Old Man.
Dad rants?
I have a name for it. It's called complaining.
Complaining.
Let's complain. All our complaints about cons. Because, I have a lot of nitpicks. You have to have and someone even wrote, this book exists. Someone wrote a book about con etiquette.
There's needed to be. Now, it's probably cosplay's not consent. Okay, it's like, I'm sorry. No, I don't think the girl walking around in a string is consent, even though she's walking around in a string to get attention. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll find this book. Also, did you see that the Megalopolis trailer dropped?
Yeah, we can watch it later.
I have thoughts. I like what he did.
Thoughts and prayers.
Well, yeah.
I like Francis Ford Coppola too. I do. Just lost his wife, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll check it out. So, but back to the Acolyte real quick. All right. That side of the fandom, that really minute side of the fandom, that modern audience that Disney has been chasing, feels so betrayed. And now you're seeing why other companies have been scared to death to cancel shows that should be canceled. Star Trek Discovery should have been canceled. Absolutely. This Doctor Who mess it's all burning money. So, and there is a certain amount, and it's always been there, a certain amount of you give this person something because they've been successful. They have a lot of juice, as they say. They have a lot of, political capital. So you have to go with it, even if it's a bit of a risk and it's going to lose a little money. But they don't let them do it forever, right? So now they're afraid of their employees. Because this small sect that's complaining on TikTok is like 70%, 75% of the Disney employees. So imagine your own fucking people turning on you. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with here. So we have this video here from My Nerdy Home.
Hey, Steph.
So the Acolyte.
Right.
Oh my God.
Off to a great start already.
I can already tell from the hair.
All right.
This is why I don't go on TikTok, by the way. I mean, bless anybody who does. If you're a woman, if you're a man, what the fuck are you doing watching TikTok?
Right.
Like, really? What are you doing?
Yeah.
All right.
So the Acolyte was canceled.
It's definitely because incels didn't like two people of color holding hands. We're not gonna forget that.
They've hit the second tower.
Wait, pause. Did she say they hit the second tower?
Let's repeat that.
We're not gonna forget that.
They've hit the second tower.
What?
Is that like
Tower?
is that like 9/11? Chat, did she say they hit the second tower? I don't know what she said right there. I'm like,
That's
what,
awesome.
is this the 9/11 for Acolyte fans?
Oh my god. I'm gonna play it one more time.
We're not gonna forget that.
They've hit the second tower.
They've hit the second tower. That's what it says on the bottom
Oh
there.
my god.
What the fuck?
That's so weird.
It's my 9/11 and January 6th all rolled up into one. The Acolyte was canceled.
Oh my god.
That's lame.
Now, that might have been out of context, but like when you hear hit the second tower, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not Star Wars, okay? Holy shit. How far are we in by the way?
Like 10 seconds.
Oh God.
8 seconds.
God.
Out of, I don't know.
They really flew okay, you got to read some of this because this isn't spoken, right? So they really flew Manny out to D23 to promote the Acolyte just to announce it's canceled on his birthday.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
To be fair,
That's
that
still
is very-
funny. That's still funny. I said it yesterday. Best thing that could ever happen to that guy. I think he's probably a decent actor. Go act decently as far away from Disney and Star Wars as you possibly can. Believe me, this will be a gift. This is a gift. Not a curse, a gift. And you don't have to play Queer Mirror anymore. The Thirst Trap.
Such a dumb character.
Dude. What Star Wars has descended in the hands of Disney, the single greatest cinematic intellectual property that will ever be created in the history of time. A first movie that was nominated for Best Picture. Should have won.
Won a few Oscars though for editing.
Should have won.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing any Annie Hall fans out there right now. Should have fucking won. Empire Strikes Back should have been nominated. Absolutely should have been nominated.
Woody Allen extended cinematic universe has not gone well over the years.
Maybe we get a prequel to Annie Hall, and then no, we won't. So cultural impact, part of the AFI's top 100 forever, one of the highest grossing films. Probably, I think it's number 2 for adjusted for inflation. It's Star Wars, the Star Wars franchise. It's now a thirst trap. Think about that. Think about that. For one, if you were told that 20 years, you'd go, what's a fucking thirst trap? That's the first thing you'd say. And you'd say, oh, it's like a Harlequin romance novel, except written 1,000 times worse. That's what Star Wars is.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Hit play.
Exactly.
It was set up to fail from the beginning. When The Acolyte was first announced as a female-run show with Leslie Hedland at the helm, starring a black femme and a diverse cast of characters unlike we had seen in a
pause.
Star Wars.
Bigot. Non-binary.
Right.
Non-binary. Bigot. At least that's the last time I checked. That's the last time I checked.
Has she announced what her...
She's announced a couple of things.
Oh, God.
But the last time, I'm sticking with non-binary because that's the last one I heard. And I don't really care. But just wanted to point out, total bigot. Let's go.
We had seen in a Star Wars project before. The review bombers took to the internet before the show even had a chance to air.
Oh, I hate TikTok. I fucking hate TikTok.
I
hate TikTok with the intensity of 10,000 suns. Like, content is, I'm going to lip sync a line from the show, not even bother fixing the audio where it reduces some of the, where you're because that's what TikTok is. They have a algorithmic trending fucking sound that like a bunch of women can lip sync to and go in front of some fucking, it's like bad green screen. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I can understand if too many YouTubers watch this, it might ruin them because you just go, why? But yeah, okay. So the Acolyte did hire former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Hedland. They did give her $180 million. They did. It starred Amanda Stenberg, who played two characters exactly the same way. What range? What absolute range? And they tried to like make her look uglier. They put her in the dumbest story imaginable that centered around a thirst trap that wanted to inject Reylo fanfic into Star Wars and thought that was a good idea. So there's people down the line who thought it was a good idea to spend $180 million on something that cannot turn a profit. You're not licensing it anywhere. Nobody's buying the figures. So it only makes money by bringing subscribers to Disney Plus. And I'm pretty sure it was a net negative. I don't think I'm going out on a limb at all that people saw this and said, fuck this. Why do I pay for this streaming service? As all the streaming services are raising their prices right now. By the way, just got a little Paramount Plus is jacking up $1.
Yeah, they're all raising prices or reducing or just adding,
Ads.
Ads.
Well,
exactly.
Adding ads, reducing price, or bundling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. But yeah, so it's gone. And I think these people actually did watch it. There just weren't enough of them. Not even close to being enough of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not even close. And as far as like people going after Amanda Stenberg, we could certainly call her out for her diss track against Star Wars fans, and we can critique her acting. But beyond that, I don't care what she does.
Yeah. What a dumb, who allowed that diss track thing to happen? Like, why would you say, hey, here's something good we can do, call out the people who don't like the show and call them a name, even though there's no evidence that they are what the name implies.
Right.
It was stupid. I really,
whoever wrote that diss track, watch all of our videos.
it's a losing strategy.
It really is. Well, case in point, the Acolyte is canceled. And I think it would be at the very least in question right now if Disney had just shut up, if they hadn't gaslit the fans from the get-go before the show came out, and if Amanda Stenberg didn't put out that diss track. That it was already trending because of the Space Witches. She comes out with the diss track, and it keeps it in the news. It was starting to fade a little bit, and she bumped it up. I remember when it happened. I'm like, I thought it was AI. I thought somebody made an AI thing. I'm like, this cannot be real. This did not just happen. And it did. I was like, oh my God. So yeah. It was a combination of a lot of things, but it certainly doesn't help that it was written specifically for the intersectional feminist. So many of them out there, by the way. And it was horrible. And you pissed off the fans. Hit play.
I understand that it got review bombed to an insane degree by so many people who were hating on it just because of what seemed like internal prejudice.
Amanda Stenberg, who not only gave a phenomenal performance as Osha, but also as her twin sister May, had no choice.
Pause. Stop. A phenomenal performance.
She states it like a fact.
She's stating it in fact. This is confirmation bias entertainment on display. Confirmation. There could be an actor out there that I love who gives a shit performance, and I'm going to say, it's shit. It was shit. I love Kate Blanchett. I love her as an actress. I think she's great. I think she's versatile. One of the best actresses out there. She was dog shit in fucking Borderlands. She was terrible in that movie. Absolutely terrible. A phenomenal performance. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's go.
As Osha, but also as her twin sister May, had no choice but to stick up for themselves and defend herself against the vitriol and bigotry that she was receiving because Lucasfilm did not protect her.
Whoa. Lucasfilm didn't protect her. They attacked the fans before the show came out. They did everything they could to protect her. What to answer your question from earlier, Chris, I think she went out and did this video on her own. And I think Lucasfilm the big difference is there would have been a time where an agent or somebody from the studio would have stepped in and go, no. And now Disney's either completely on board or too scared to say no. You pick.
Yeah.
Poking the bear of the paying customer. Has it ever worked?
I can't think of one example where this was a winning strategy, and it's actually diminishes your brand. And also in response to this, do we have that much power? I mean,
No.
all I recall is me saying this is not a very good show.
Yeah.
Conversely, there was a show Fallout that is also very diverse, has all the elements, which I actually really liked until the ending, and the ending was just badly written. I didn't like that final episode, but I still really like the lead character. I like Walton Goggins. I thought the story and the world was there. And I liked Fallout.
A lot of people liked it. I didn't, but a lot of people liked it and it was popular.
Well, that final episode they really shit the bed.
Mhm.
But this is just an awful show. It's really down to the writing. It's down to the writing. And then Leslie Hedland, this is another thing why my theory as to why it was canceled is she is a terrible producer. Forget the writing, put that aside. She hired all her friends and paid them too much. And in spite of all that money, made a bad show. Like, not bad on every level. Writing, critically received, the just the lore breaking, which, you know, you can do that and have it actually add something, but clearly she was not respectful. Then just the overall, you watch it. I remember watching it going, this looks cheap to me. It looks, and she was bragging about how they didn't film it on the volume. Well, she doesn't, you know, she wasn't like some David Lean epic, you know what I mean? Which you
No.
could have done with that kind of money. You could have done something like that. There's no, it's visually boring. There's a scene at the end of, oh my God, what's that movie where Spielberg, The Fabelmans?
Yes.
Right? The final scene of The Fabelmans where David Lynch gives it, say, that's boring. That works. And it was like making about just the frame in cinema. He didn't follow that. And that's also, by the way, Wish, the same thing with Wish. It was everything wrong, how not to frame things up, film things,
dude,
make it dynamic in animation.
The framing in this diss track is better than it is in the show.
You're right. It is.
It is. It's more cinematic. Her gyrating in front of a mural, you know, is more cinematic than anything in the Acolyte, dude. Which is hilarious.
By the way, They is hot. They is really hot in this. What's weird is she's a very attractive woman. In the show, she wears this Dumby outfit. She looks 30 pounds overweight in a Dumby outfit that is really not it doesn't make her, it looks unappealing. It's not
that's
flattering.
costume design has been lost on this gobbledygook of gender ambiguity and making everybody look like we saw that in the Thunderbolts trailer too with Florence Pugh, who's like an attractive woman, right? But they just ugly her down too. A Black Widow. Yeah, like it's just that it doesn't work. People want to aspire to things and they want to see things aesthetically pleasing. Even if it's like going back to Alien, it's an aesthetically pleasing, disgusting film because of Geiger. Yeah. So but it's aesthetically, it's amazing. And you have to think about that with Star Wars. No, they just shot it like a TV show. What they did with the money, I don't know. But it didn't all go in the show. Couldn't have.
Apparently, I read that they had spent almost $40 million before they started shooting, just on development and stuff. I just think she is not, look, in the hands of a George Lucas, a Ridley Scott, You develop, you hire designers, you give them direction. We've seen BTS of this for both Ridley and George Lucas. They know how to be a leader, a creative leader. He may not have personally designed things, but he gave direction, what he was looking for, influences. I went to Skywalker Ranch a couple times back in the 90s. I worked on a video game magazine. I was fortunate to go up to LucasArts. We went to the ranch, went there a couple times. That big ranch house, George Lucas has a library that could be right out of Indiana Jones.
Oh, dude, I've been in it. Yes. It's the former former United Artists Library. He bought it all. So
Yes.
it's multiple levels. There's $1 million paintings on the wall. I'm going to say $1 million paintings on the wall, and it goes all the way up. It's got like a skylight in the middle, right? Yeah, I've been there.
You were there. You were there too. Okay. What's cool about that is George Lucas is obsessed with things like, and Ridley Scott too, architecture, history, classic storytelling, literature. These are the influences that gave us some of the greatest films we've ever seen, from Ridley. And look, they've had their stinkers too. Okay. Howard the Duck, other movies, whatever. With Ridley Scott, it's sort of every other movie is a worthwhile film, maybe less than that, but he's made enough in his career to have my respect. All of their influence came from so many other things. And Leslie Hedland is influenced by the previous Star Wars that's come out. What does she know about architecture, wardrobes? So I have a book that was put out by Lucas a long time ago, just about the costumes from Star Wars. It's amazing. He went nuts in the prequels, and you can criticize a lot about the prequels. There's so much else I love about the prequels that is amazing. The costume design, the creativity, the innovation, the droid decas, right? Those weird rolling droids like a roly-poly that are so weird. Like, I love all that stuff that George brings in. There are no original ideas in the Acolyte.
Nope.
Except for Thirst Trap Sith. It's so
It's
dumb.
not even you're repurposing a horrible aspect from the Disney trilogy. You're repurposing fan fiction alone, but specific fan fiction, Reylo fan fiction, for fuck's sake. What is wrong with you?
And
Jesus.
The failure of this show proved this is a vocal, very, very vocal, very active, because they're 24/7 on social media whining about this crap. Very vocal minority of fans. Minority. And I don't mean that in the sense of how it's used racially speaking. I mean, this
The
is
actual
a small
number.
group.
Yeah.
The actual number is small people. Otherwise, this would have been a huge hit because it hit everything they claim to love.
Yep.
And that's okay.
It's okay to love that stuff. It just doesn't work in Star Wars. It just flat out doesn't. Make your own stuff. Stick with your fanfic wherever you do it. Do that stuff all day long. But now that it has been given you can't criticize Disney for not giving it a chance. They threw $180 million. They did everything they could except for hiring talented people. But they did everything they could, and it failed. The same with the Marvels. It failed like we knew it would, because it breaks everything about George Lucas's Star Wars. Right. Absolutely everything, like we've been saying for years. And it's just the wake-up point, I guess, the much needed, long overdue wake-up for, I guess, some people. But quite frankly, this shit's been in Disney Star Wars pretty much all along. Pretty much all along. And it's the living embodiment of the South Park meme. Like, I don't make the rules. I make the observations, okay? It's the living embodiment of that meme, this show.
And if you look at the promotion of the show, there was a vocal disdain for Lucas, for other creatives. Leslie Hedland was the heir apparent. She was the, anointed one to like bring, innovation to Star Wars, right? I saw quotes from her about like, well, George could just hire all these creative people. He didn't just hire those people. He chose them. He vetted them. He gave them creative direction, something that she doesn't have in her, she doesn't have that.
She doesn't have it in her DNA.
Right. How to lead a team, knowing these influences, having conversations, saying, you know, whether it's about architecture, wardrobe, music, like all those elements, right? Like she doesn't have that. She's just borrowing from what George did, playing in the sandbox, and just ended with
pissing
this.
in it.
So, fine. And look, I actually think even if none of us had done videos about how bad this is, because there's other people that say, stop talking about it, right? Stop talking.
I've been hearing that since I started.
Yeah, I know. But I'll say, like, what if we did nothing? This show would have quietly been canceled. By the way, not canceled. People have been correct. It was not picked up for a second season. And this was, it's
That's
so
canceled.
awful.
That's canceled. That's fucking canceled. That's as canceled as it's gonna get.
Did you see John Roca?
We fixed the glitch.
That guy, whatever. But he had a tweet like they were trying to put together a writer's room for season 2. There were moves in that direction.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And that's probably why this information leaked. It's like, oh, we need to stop this in this tracks. This is going to be bad. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off and get the fuck out of here.
Right.
So that's what they did. Hit play.
The supposed Star Wars fans were divided, and by that I mean incels of the internet and of Twitter.
Managed to pull off enemies to lovers so well.
Lucasfilm didn't do anything to protect the cast and the
Okay,
crew of the
hit pause. That term incels. Especially directed towards nerds. So it's just say your mom's basement, all that shit. It's the same fucking thing. So these fucking fake geek girls out there, fuck off. Fuck off. You know, jack shit. You know what? Get your little pop vinyl, buy your T-shirt, and then move on from this like you will towards something else when some dumb reality show comes out that you'll fucking eat up and think it's real. Okay? Jesus Christ. Worst thing to happen to fandom. Well, corporatism and the fake geek girl. Please. Hit play.
anything to protect the cast and the crew of the Acolyte.
Why can't the girls have fun things for the girlies? Why?
What? Star Wars has been for the girlies since the get-go. How many white brunette women have we seen? Right. And now we had a show. This was for the girlies. Where were they? Where were you? Why didn't you show up? It was for the girlies. Maybe because most of the girlies don't want to see a bunch of freaking they-thems running around and cackling commie space witches.
Right.
You even had your thirst trap in there. That didn't bring them in. Jesus. Hit play.
But it just shows how fragile you guys are to storytelling.
And it was for the girls on board.
Leslie Hedland was so dedicated as a fan of Star Wars.
So when Mother Anicia says this quote, and the whole show is literally about people of color, ask me what I'm about to do.
Hit pause. So that quote was, the galaxy doesn't welcome people like us. Yeah, bringing that into Star Wars was so welcoming, wasn't it? Does that feel welcoming? Or does it like rip you right out of it, practically breaks the fourth wall, or does? It does. And brings it into the modern world, the modern Los Angeles that these creatives live in today. That really has nothing to do with the real world at all. By the way, we're fragile to storytelling, guys. Fragile to storytelling. All this storytelling is bothering me.
God.
Okay, hit play.
Really about people of color. Ask me what I'm about to do. I'm about to cry. Thank you for asking. I don't care about what the incel said. You guys bullied Amanda Stenberg so bad.
The Acolyte, it was kind of to be expected considering how it is set in the universe that has, if not one of then the most toxic fan base like ever.
To receive this news, I like him.
I am mourning the fact that we're not getting any more Khmer edits because we're not going to get any more source material.
What do you mean?
Oh my God. Tell me you have a lot of cats without telling me you have a lot of cats.
Yeah.
Hit play. Let's get this
I'm
on.
going to get any more source material.
What do you mean? It wasn't bringing in the view.
The viewership was not bad. The precedent this is setting is very scary and very concerning. What Lucasfilm is doing with this
It's
decision,
a threat to our democracy. It's a threat to our democracy, canceling the Acolyte. Hit play.
What Lucasfilm is doing with this decision is allowing the bigots to win, allowing the bigots to run with this and decide, even if that's not the original intention of canceling the show, that they have won, that they are correct.
Where did she get to that place? It wasn't the original intention of canceling the show, but you shouldn't cancel it, even though your original intention was low viewership, because it'll make it look like the bigots won. And there you have your answer as to why Star Trek Discovery wasn't canceled and why they haven't pulled the plug on Doctor Who and why they let so many things happen. Because instead of letting the market decide, they let their own internal marketing departments decide and cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars because they're afraid to look bad. You know what makes you look bad? Churning out consistent failures over we're getting close to a decade here, and refusing to listen to anything, and to lump all criticism into bigotry. And these shows were made to be a shield. So when you have a diverse show, that's why I even mention it. Like, oh my God, Disney looks like a bunch of bigots. They just canceled a show led by a lesbian starring a non-binary actress who played the two parts the same way. Two parts the same way. Let's get to the Mary Sue article.
Oh, breaking news. If you could check the private chat, Gary, we should look at that. Try to look for that.
The email thing, right?
The email
Talking
thing.
about?
Yeah, that's. I'm trying to find it right now. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, cover me for a second. Let me see.
We'll I want to look for that, but you gotta bring up that Mary Sue. Or
Or do you want me to read some soups while you're checking? Maybe.
read it, but read it.
You read some, and
You read them, but X-Ray Girl, like whisper it.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
my God.
ASMR. Let's read the super chats.
Oh my God.
Do it.
I can't
Come on, let's do it. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I'm listening.
Laugh. You made it worse. Oh my gosh.
How do I make it worse?
Okay, so
Okay.
wayward noodle.
Yes. Continue. Talk about the noodle.
$10. No. We're gonna read a super chat. Okay. Better horror alien movie? Alien or The Thing? Ooh,
that's
I don't
good.
know.
Okay. The Thing is a classic. What's weird is that movie's like an hour, 40 minutes. It is terrifying. Tell you a story. The last time when I saw scary movies when I was a kid, I slept with the light on. I was so scared.
Oh.
I was 16 years old, just got in my car so I didn't care about getting laid at that age. I cared about, I did care, but I cared about going to the movies. I got a car, so I had the freedom to go to the movies whenever I wanted, because I always had to ask my mom for a ride or I had to walk miles anyways, which I did. So I was 16. I saw John Carpenter's The Thing in a theater. I was so terrified. I slept with the light on.
Dude.
So what?
Keep going on. No, I just got a piece of hate mail, which is pretty funny because it's titled hate mail.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm gonna read it in a second.
Oh, God.
But go on.
So yeah, between those two, those might be two of the scariest of all time. I don't know. I would almost think maybe The Thing is scarier because
I
of
think
how
the shock of the thing.
I'm not
like, you
seeing
knew.
anything on it. Are you? So they're
I
saying it was
Googled it.
emailed. I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I Googled too. I looked a bunch of places on Reddit.
Oh, did you email it to me? No, that was no, that's something else.
I mean, this is just from a chat, so it's I don't know 100%.
Yeah, so can we talk about what we're discussing behind the scenes?
I mean, I can bring up the membership.
Yeah, there's a
chat if
screen.
you
There's a
want.
screen. There's going to be a screening of the first 2 episodes of Rings of Power, apparently in certain cities.
And
so
that was
I'm
from
gonna-
White Chocolate.
I'm gonna look for it and see if I can find it.
Chat.
But first,
Chat, we need your help. Please help us find.
you're our only hope, chat.
You're our only hope, Chad. There are apparently screenings of the first 2 episodes of season 2 of Rings of Power in theaters.
We need tickets. Well-
Gary needs tickets. I will give Gary my tickets if I get tickets.
All right. So this is from Edith.
Yeah.
And it's titled Hate Mail.
Oh, hate
Words
mail.
cannot describe how much I find you annoying. You are so media illiterate. Fucking media literacy. I'm surprised you can read it all. I barely can. From your channel name and content, you are so pedantic and you talk in circles. You are a bitter old man who cannot accept younger actors without stereotypes. I hate you. Shave your stupid facial hair, touch grass, and delete your channel.
Recent college graduate, by the way. I can tell by the use of words. Big words.
I'm going to reply, thank you for your feedback.
Oh my god.
Yes, do it. Yeah. I don't get a lot of hate mail. Sometimes I get it. And like maybe I get a D.
I don't either. I don't get stuff that's titled hate mail.
It's like
Right.
very obvious.
Right.
It's great. That's great. So hopefully we can find. Let's get to the Mary Sue article.
Sorry I derailed Gary, but I thought this was time sensitive. Because those tickets sell out quick.
Well, I'll see if I can try and find something for you guys.
Chat. Get the chat on it.
The Mary Sue, is this Rachel Leischman?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. Rachel Leischman, who wanted me out of her Doctor Who fandom, and then when I asked her to show me her Doctor Who collection, amazingly enough says, I have one. I just can't show it right now. All right.
Oh, that's funny.
I was able to take pictures of a portion of mine in under 5 seconds. I went boom, boom, boom. That's it. Disney is happy to let the toxic dude bros win, I guess. You know, it's Rachel Leischman and the Mary Sue is one of the worst things that's ever happened to fandom. This angle of fandom that came in, and it's been around for a while. It's been around for a while, but this is a lot of the corporatism that's happened that has destroyed entertainment through risk aversion was spurned on by the access media, which had the illusion of power 10 years ago. Great power, and as Vari says, you know, people power exists where people believe it exists. So the corporations believe that the access media have power because they were and remember when they started shutting down their comment sections? I do, because their comment sections used to be pretty open at one time, but they started shutting them around 2015, a little before that. I don't know if Mary Sue ever had. It's not a site I ever taken seriously. It's just a site to meme because it's funny. The fact that it's called the Mary Sue, unironically. So
years ago, I kind of liked it. It was like, okay, a female perspective on nerd culture. It's like, oh, I seriously thought it was interesting back in the day when it became this, not about just celebrating cool shit from a female perspective. It became, let's go after the guys that we hate. When it became this hateful place where they target certain types of people, that's when I was like, no, I'm not about that. That's not useful. But I don't know. It's awful now. I mean, she's done hit pieces on me. So when I did the Make Marvel Male Again, she came after me. So whatever. Anyways.
The Acolyte was a new and exciting show in the Star Wars franchise. Fans were given a look at the time period in the High Republic era, the very popular High Republic era that sold no comics, no books. That was never before seen in live action. Yeah, people had to wait like 2 or 3 years. My God, Chris, the High Republic era. We had new characters to love, a cliffhanger with Yoda, and it was just exciting. Political opinions and waist size aside, with Rachel Leishman. If you're a culture critic, if you are somebody who provides commentary on the culture, I think one of the things you need to have is good taste, decent taste, being able to recognize good from bad. Now that varies from thing to thing. There's a lot of movies I like that Chris doesn't like and vice versa. And the same with you in the chat. But I think there's like some fixed points in pop culture that everybody likes Star Wars. Everybody likes Raiders. What I mean, everybody, there's always that outlier, not even counting them. Okay. Pretty universally loved Jaws, Alien, Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Lord of the Rings trilogy, RTD era, early RTD era of Doctor Who, the original series, there's fixed points. And then it gets into like really love Farscape, X-Files. There's people that at least can agree like, hey, this is a really popular thing that most people liked. So you need to be able to discern good from bad. And if you sit down and you know nothing about Star Wars and you watch The Acolyte, most people will know it's bad. It's just bad, poorly written. If you're just blindly backing it, saying that there was actually intriguing things happening in the show, I am convinced you are entertained by a laser pointer. And that's fine, but you're going to have to admit that, like, I'm recommending this show, but quite frankly, when I see pretty lights, I start going like this, but maybe you shouldn't be a cultural critic, especially when you're like trying to set this bar high. We're going to be the feminist cultural critic and say anybody complaining about Star Wars is a dude bro. For one, dude bros, if we go back to our time, Chris, jocks. Yeah. Jocks, even jocks like Star Wars. Even jocks. They didn't like Star Trek. They called it Star Trek. But even jocks like Star Wars. Star Wars had mass appeal. That's why it's the most palpable intellectual property that's sci-fi fantasy, because it had mass appeal. It's normie. It's normie. Star Trek, not normie at all. And when they tried to make it normie, it sucked. So, but you still have to know good from bad. And objectively, The Acolyte is a poorly written show. So what you have here is confirmation bias. She just agrees with the politics and the message, whatever you could get out of it. It's tough to pull a message out of The Acolyte, to be honest with you. But it's there. It's there. The patriarchy is bad. Women should be free to kill whoever they want. That's your fucking message. As long as it's their message. So she agrees with it. But any kind of change in Star Wars brings with a rush of angry... Okay, what change happened? Aside from, like, prison raping the lore, it was just more boring Jedi in robes. No change happened. This was the same schlock they've been serving up forever. They just didn't have as many member berries that were recognizable to the normie. But any kind of change in Star Wars brings with it a rush of angry dude bros with their pitchforks. They never give the series a chance. Though through review bombing and hating on social media, these men made it impossible for anyone to talk about the series. Still fans of The Acolyte. Might be Rachel. Remained positive and fought through the noise these guys were making. Guys and gals. Plenty of gals making noise, right, Chris? Plenty of gals making noise about this show. You kidding me? It wasn't just dudes. Star Wars fans can be split in 3 parts. Those who love the franchise more than anything, those who enjoy watching it but aren't diehards, and then the kind of toxic fans who ruin it for everyone. I would agree, and you're part of that, Rachel. Everybody backing the Acolyte is part of that. That's probably not what you meant, but look in the mirror. You might want to get 2. You might need 2. People who spend their money or time angry on YouTube and cry about Luke Skywalker's death not being cool enough for them, those are toxic ones to me. I mean, ruining the foundational character of Star Wars forever. You should just be all whatever.
Dude, I don't know if you saw Yellow Flash put out a really interesting tweet on Monday, and I responded to it. Just saying, it said, he showed a picture at the end of Return of the Jedi, and all he put was, and they lived happily ever after, the end.
Yeah.
That was what he said. And then I replied to it, and then, I mean, both tweets kind of got some traction, but this is the complaint. And I really feel like our ongoing conversation in general, like here, as it applies to Star Wars, is we never got in our mind's eye these wild, fun adventures of Han, Luke, Leia, et al., right? Because we made them up in our heads with the action figures and comics and our imagination of what real sequels to Star Wars could have been. And the fact that we haven't gotten that is why this ongoing discussion is almost a form of therapy for many of us. Probably more for me than you, because you're not as much of a Star Wars guy as I am, but you're more Lord of the Rings guy. So I feel
I was a Star Wars guy for a long time. Yeah. Then The Last Jedi happened and all emotional attachment was severed for good.
Well, I am faithful, and I was like, they're going to bring it home. Rise of Skywalker will be Luke Skywalker coming from the world, the spirit realm of the Jedi, to return with an army of Jedi from the past to confront the Emperor and end it all. And that didn't happen. It was a garbage. I mean, I only saw that movie once. It's the only Star Wars movie I've only seen once in a theater. One time.
Well, if Star Wars is a church, that I'm an apostate, right? So,
right, there you go.
But it's because the church was usurped by Marxism. Totally not happening in the Vatican right now. So yeah.
Yeah, it's so infuriating, and that's why I think we are still discussing this, because what is Star Wars? Let's be honest. Is it the tech and this and all? I think it's the characters.
It's the characters, an immersive world. They made and they had some, like, for the hardcore fans, they had a good run. Not necessarily in the theater, but with comic books and games. Yeah. They had a good run expanding the lore within that, like really satisfying the hardcore Star Wars fans, which you need, which you've, like, Lucasfilm immediately pissed off. Amazon immediately pissed off with Lord of the Rings. You need those hardcore fans to act as custodians or shepherds or whatever you want to call them, to bring in new fans. And, when people were watching Game of Thrones when it was good, a lot of people would watch them in groups, and they'd always have the one book guy or girl there, right? Kind of filling in a little bit of lore, as the show goes on. And it helped. It helped as long as it stays spiritually true to that. You can't say the Acolyte is spiritually true to Star Wars at all. It's antithetical to it. It's spiritually antithetical. But no, Rachel agrees with the politics. Rachel just hates the dude bros. Rachel just hates the chuds. Probably had a bad date. I don't know. I don't care. There's a point where, acceptance is a great thing. Learned it in recovery. It's just a brilliant thing. And they are the ones who refuse to let the Acolyte find its fandom, just constantly screaming at anyone who dared love the show. I don't recall ever going after somebody on Twitter. Specifically, like I'll counterpunch once in a great while, or I'll lull. I'll go, you know, when somebody calls me a bigot or whatever.
Right.
But as we showed on the Real BBC, no, the people who seek out the opposite opinion are these motherfuckers. I didn't tweet at Rachel Leichman about fucking Doctor Who. The tweet she reacted to was, Doctor, I let you go. That was it. That was it. That was me being done. Like, you know, do your thing, whatever. So no, it's all projection. They're the ones throwing out just, you know, throwing out names and everything. And it's so, it's like, now it's a badge of honor. Now it's like people were like, the bigots won, and people are going, yep. It's fucking funny. It's funny.
I don't like to even use those terms, you know, bigot, whatever. I don't
joke.
I don't acknowledge it. I'm saying, you know, these are all fans. If you're so passionate, you're talking about it, you are a fan. So, the fact that they and to me, name calling, when you name call, you have lost the argument. And this is true in life, in all this. When you begin to name call others, it's because you don't have an argument to actually debate what is being questioned, right? You don't have it. You don't have it. So then you name call. That is an act of a loser. Losers name call, right? When you have nothing but criticize the actual argument. Come at me. We did that Star Wars trial a year ago. They could not debate against the arguments at all. So I still have my judge's robe.
That's good. Don't ever get rid of that.
Yeah. So anyways.
Don't ever get rid of that. Okay. Every single thing these toxic bros like, it gets another season. Look, I love The Mandalorian, but they don't have an issue with that show. Actually, I did, especially towards season 3. So, absolutely, towards season 3. They were furious over Obi-Wan, a great show that didn't get picked up for a second season, and it hasn't been given a second season because it wasn't a great show. It was awful. And as far as damaging, I would say one of the most damaging things they've done since the Last Jedi. Easily. These were these angry YouTube quote-unquote warriors who mocked the Book of Boba Fett repeatedly because it was terrible. It was so terrible that they had to make it they had to put a Mandalorian insert into the show. Boba Fett is not in an episode of his own show. Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Boba Fett. And he got usurped by fake Boba Fett, by repurposed Boba Fett and a repurposed Yoda. If they like the show, they are rewarded. So what about the rest of us? Okay, so when she's speaking, it's the general public. All right? It's the general public. And what about you? You just got your show, Rachel. You just got your show, and not enough people watched it. It was a show completely made for the Mary Sue. And not enough people watched it. You want to know why? Because not that many people care. So what about the rest of us? What about the fans who find joy in all of these stories? Well, just keep writing them yourselves, please. Who love the franchise and don't spend our time attacking people who look like a different part of it. Pretty sure she went after me on Twitter, but never mind. Should we stop caring? And I don't give a fuck, by the way. I don't care. She can do it all day long. Should we stop caring about Star Wars because they're going to cancel something we like because some angry man with a camera setup said they should? Some angry Mr. Man with a camera setup and 3-point lighting comfortable chair, possibly a soundboard. I think a Rodecaster 2. I'm not sure. It wasn't the angry men with the camera setups. It was the fans being vocal and not watching it, but certainly laughing at it. This is where, Twitter has become a powerful tool. Chris, would this have gone down the way it did with Jack Dorsey's Twitter?
No. I have to say, I actually really enjoy Twitter. I feel like I feel comfortable having conversations and saying what I think. And I love it. It's so entertaining. It's the only platform with a accurate gun emoji. I saw that thing that Elon put out with the little chart about how the emojis changed. And it's the only place they have a gun that looks like a gun, not some, water pistol.
Right.
Stupid. So, and I like free conversations. I love, you talk about it a lot. Those conversations you had at the comic shop. That's all this show is. That's what this conversation is. And you know what? Some people just can't hang. It turns out some people can't hang.
Yeah.
Because the best part about those discussions was it wasn't about winning. It was about making the best argument.
Mm-hmm.
Can you be persuasive? Do you have the knowledge? That's why, the last day of Comic-Con in San Diego, we all ended up at Starship SmackDown. It's the epitome of those nerd conversations talking about the complement of weapons the Galactica had, as opposed to the Starship Enterprise, like all of that, like gets into the nitty gritty, and then creatively, I love it. That's why it's like, who's stronger, Thor, the Hulk? I mean, that argument's brought up a lot, but that is all nerd arguments. I love it because you could make an argument either way for either outcome, right? And make the better argument. And that's what these outlets like Mary Sue refuse to do. They cannot acknowledge and be honest, which is why they don't have any credibility anymore. It's like, make the argument, convince me why the Acolyte is worthwhile. I am unconvinced. Also, I saw the show, so that's enough for me.
Sorry. I don't know if you could hear that or not, but
no, I didn't hear anything.
I was trying to look up a video for my point later. Later. Okay, so let's go back to this real quick. Yeah, I was pulling up something because it's about what you were saying is this has been fandom forever, and some people just can't hang. And we're talking about arguments over nerd stuff, and they can't hang. Some people can't hang with the internet. It's a rough place. Not as rough as real life, though. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. It's nothing. So here we go. It's been hard being a fan of this franchise my entire life. She has busted her ass being a Star Wars fan, ladies and gentlemen. It's been so hard being a Star Wars fan. I imagine if you try to pretend to like all this shit, that would be probably pretty hard. I've been quizzed by... Oh, here we go. I've been quizzed by men who think they know more, and I've watched stories I love get trashed because some guy decided it was bad and made it his whole personality, but still, I stuck around. I did it because I love this franchise and just wish that this franchise loved its actual fans. That's where we're going to agree, Rachel Leichman. We're going to agree. This franchise doesn't love its fans. It hasn't since it went into the hands of Disney. It has no love for all the fandom. You're just starting to feel it now with something you lost. Now, how does it fucking feel? How does it fucking feel? You know what? It's not hard to be a Star Wars fan. It's not hard to just, if you want to enjoy shit, enjoy it. It's pretty easy. It's the internet. You're going to hear stuff all the time. the alien conversation, which got killed by Acolyte, by the way. But the alien conversation was, as Chris said, it was pretty split. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people didn't like it. Echo Chamberlain said it was the worst movie he's seen this year. I didn't even go that hard because it's not. Because I watched the American Society of Magical Negroes. That is the worst movie I've seen this year. By far. Madam Web is Shakespeare compared to that shit. But holy shit. So, and we were having like real nerd conversations about it. Like, how does it rank within alien films and all that stuff? And that's fun stuff. That's fun stuff. With Star Wars, it hasn't even been as good as, and I don't like Alien Romulus, but it hasn't been as good as Alien Romulus, which at least had elements, which at least had a big chunk that visually I found like really cool. Really cool. So there was at least walking out of Alien Romulus, technically, okay. Technically, as far as costumes and set design, and there's some hope that they can maybe do something. Fede Alvarez, I think he's a good director. I think the writing was shit. You find a better screenwriter than him to do it. There's potential there. Not saying it's going to be good, probably isn't, but there's potential. There's no potential with Disney Star Wars anymore. There's none. And this is just the straw that broke the camel's back. And now they're coming to terms with it. Rachel Leishman is coming to terms with it because it's something that she liked or politically agreed with it, whatever you want to choose, is now being canceled and shit on. Interesting. These angry men. It's all men, by the way. Hear that, ladies? I saw plenty of ladies hating this fucking show. Plenty of ladies out there. These angry men are never going to like, obviously, issues with dudes. Whatever that issue is, don't know, but it's clinical. These angry men are never going to like what the franchise does unless they are the ones calling the shots. Canceling the Acolyte adds fuel to their fire, and it's just heartbreaking to see. Having a little difficulty taking the L on this one. I hope we can still get things like Skeleton Crew and Andor moving forward. Well, Andor is moving forward. And this is the first time you brought that up, by the way. Andor, a lot of people liked it. I didn't care enough to finish it, but a lot of people liked it. Skeleton Crew, I think is practically a cartoon, a kid's show, right? I think that's it's a kid's show.
It looks fine, like the Ewok movies.
Yeah, like the Ewok movies,
they're fine and forgettable. So there you go.
I hope that this franchise still takes chances because it hasn't taken any fucking chances. It's appealing to the kind of men who have the worst ideas about what Star Wars is. Okay? You know what you follow that up is? Explain to us, Rachel Leishman of the Mary Sue, what Star Wars is. I'd love to fucking hear it. Tell me what Star Wars is. I'm all ears. I'm waiting for the article. Just break down what Star Wars is. I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear it. Bring it.
Marsha Lucas. Wait, why am I still? Sorry, Gary. I got an email. I have to respond to things in a timely manner. Dune Part 1 and 2 is playing at the Santa Barbara Film Festival with Denis Villeneuve doing a Q&A. I just got tickets. So, and I'm trying to find the Rings of Power stuff. You have the info on that. We'll do an update on that.
Do I have it? Do we have the info on it?
Yeah, tickets are out on Monday.
Yeah, so no rush.
There's no rush.
Bringing up the article later.
Oh, and they finally did one in the. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking Mary Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah, write up a big old article telling us what Star Wars is. Love to hear it.
Yeah, I want to hear. What is it?
What is it? What am I misunderstanding about a franchise I've been into longer than you've been alive?
True.
Please tell me. I look forward to it. Okay. Real quick, Chris.
Yes.
Oh, I got to find it. Somebody emailed it to me. Give me a second. Read a couple super chats. Would you, X-Ray Girl?
Where?
But whisper them.
Whisper them.
Why are you so insistent on the whispering part?
Just whisper
Here,
it.
I'll do
ASMR. Thank you.
Andrew CR for 5,000 CRCs. The power of dude bros. Dude bro. I hope you enjoyed that. Luis.
I'm sure somebody did.
$5 says, can metachlorians melt steam?
I
don't know.
What? What the hell was that?
I don't know. Magnum Norse for $10 says, this is almost as bad as Kamala Harris's speech.
Did she make it yet? Did she talk?
I don't know.
Well, I was at the lowest point of my life, Chris, when I was relapsing after I sold my store, and Kamala Harris gave me a call and really lifted me up. I just wanted to point that out.
Oh my God.
Drake Timbershaft for $2 says, film threat yells at clouds. Hail istophobes.
Hail istophobes.
Let's see. Oh, Drake Timbershaft for another $2 says, Jacinto Light quenches that thirst.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I put in Robbie Starbuck has he does those deep dives. So he discovered, autism of the internet, weaponized autism. I absolutely love it. I adore it. And this is something mainstream can't fight. It's not always going to be right and source checked. And I'm not saying Robbie Starbuck isn't. I'm just saying generally, some of it's going to be bullshit, but I'd much rather me sift through the bullshit, or Chris or you or X-Ray Girl, and not have some organization that's so connected to the government, or one part of the government now, telling me what's real and what's not. So you see the link there, X-Ray Girl? That was just that was called a lead-in, X-Ray Girl. So you hit the link, and then you yeah.
I was distracted.
Happens to me all the time.
Okay, so put it up there, and then I'll read it over here. AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, is an organization that has saved my life. It is it is a rare thing. It is a rare thing that has not been in controversy at all. And as far as recovering from alcoholism and drugs, now, honestly, I was a bigger drug addict than alcoholic, and I'd say the only controversy is there's NA, but I prefer AA because there's more time in AA.
Sorry.
There's more time in AA. And I just feel like with more time, you have more experience. But as far as getting people sober, let's say over the last 100 years, there have been a lot of cockamamie ideas. This is the only thing that's worked. This is the only thing that's consistently worked. And it's basically a plan. It's a plan set up by steps, a plan for rebuilding your life, and understanding that alcohol and drugs are but symptoms of an inner problem. From abuse. You were either born that way. There's a lot of stuff that you can deal with, and it's a lifetime commitment to sobriety. That can be very daunting. That's why you have to really get the one day at a time concept. So you're not thinking about, I have to stay sober the rest of my life. No, today. So it doesn't become a source of stress and anxiety, because that can be very crippling. Addiction is defined as a disease. I agree with that, but a disease that involves a conscious decision. So that does not absolve me of any responsibility. Okay. Like, I am responsible for what I did when I chose to pick up those drugs and use, and the consequences are me. I can't go, oh, it's my disease. That's not my fault. That's not how it fucking works at all. So it stayed out of controversy. But we get this from Robbie Starbuck, which, listen, during the election, I was in San Francisco at the time. I remember going to my meetings and then some people bitching about Trump and stuff. You just let them fucking talk, whatever, but it doesn't devolve into political discussions. And that's been the miracle of AA. It doesn't really do that. Every meeting's different. I'm sure some suck. But like, there's so many of them, and it's not a professional organization. It's not for profit. And the fact that it's stayed around this long and gotten so many people sober, and that percentage is still small. It's still small, but it's something that works. And the reason it works is because it's not easy. There is no quick fix to sobriety. There is no fucking drug that's going to make you sober. None of it. You have to work. We worked really hard as addicts to get high, and we have to redirect that energy to stay sober every day. Every day. All right, so from Robbie Starbuck. This is concerning. Alcoholics Anonymous changed their preamble, no longer saying they're a fellowship of men and women. Now it's saying they're a fellowship of people. I'm told this was changed to cater to the transmission agenda, and some left AA meetings over this and see increasingly woke ideologies permeating within the meetings as some part of the country. It should go without saying that this is wrong. The founders of AA are greatly concerned with the meetings having zero political bent of social stances and could divide people. Now wokeness is dividing the once great organization. You should wonder about all the negative impacts that may have occurred as a byproduct as no longer going to meetings. Well, yes. Remember, liquor stores were open. AA meetings were closed during COVID. Now, a lot of those, there were some rebellious AA meetings, which I appreciate. But a lot of them just shut down and went to Zoom, and you can't get the same fellowship out of a fucking Zoom call. You can't. You have to be there. You have to fucking be there. And the fact that they shut that down but kept liquor stores open, kept those drugs a-flowing, it shouldn't be surprising that relapses had gone up. And there's no way to completely get the numbers on this, but upwards of 60%. 60%. And more people died of overdoses one year than died of COVID in San Francisco. That's a fact. The piece from Ben Apple dives in deeper than I can for my two sources worth reading. AA needs to drop the wokeness and reinstate clear boundaries to keep all political and social issues out of the organization. So we're going to look at the preamble real quick, but there's a 12 traditions in AA, and the 10th is no AA group or member should ever, in such a way as to implicate AA, express any opinion on outside controversial issues. It's worded differently, but basically, AA as an organization does not have an opinion on any political issues, period. So it doesn't draw the organization into any controversies. Now, anecdotally, I checked with a couple of people, and this is certainly the case in San Francisco. So they did change the preamble in San Francisco. They have not changed it in my meeting here in Texas. And even if they did, I would say very loudly, men and women. So if they did, I would keep my old preamble, because I'm going to tell you how stupid this is. But yes, alcoholics, here's the preamble. Let me see it. Let me look over it on the screen.
Do you want the original or the new
I want
one?
the original.
There you go.
Okay. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other, and they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. Now let's go to the new one. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other, so they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. Now, here's the reason you don't need to do this. Because, and there is a lot of talk of men dressed as women going into women's meetings. So there's men's and women's meetings. And I was concerned during the wokeopolis, which was COVID, that like stuff like this would start happening. And it's going to be accepted per meeting. And that's kind of the way it should be. each meeting kind of polices itself. If a woman's meeting wants to allow that, if somebody's getting sober, I honestly don't give a shit as long as it's an adult. I don't care. It's up to the women at that meeting. I don't go to women's meetings. I don't go to men's meetings. I've never been big on men's meetings. I've gone to a couple, but I like to go where everybody is and shares their experience, strength, and hope. I like to hear from most people possible. But you could still say men and women, because ultimately, if it's a man pretending to be a woman, well, I mean, he could just apply that woman to him in his own imagination, in his own headcanon, because he's obviously got one going already. So I don't care. I don't see the need to change that. And that is going to create controversy over a small minority of people, probably centered in American cities, like San Francisco. I wouldn't be surprised if my old home meeting, which was fantastic, is doing it. I'll find out. But, and I hate talking, like, AA takes care of itself. It's not a cult. There's no defined leadership. There is some, a little bit of, deity worship with Dr. Bob and Bill, with their images up there. And I'm not really into that, but whatever. But that's far and few between. And I am just for keeping the walls adorned with sayings from AA and not people's pictures. You know what I'm saying? And keeping focused on the message of sobriety. And that's for everybody, like absolutely everybody. What alcohol and drugs is a symptom of a much bigger personal problem I have, right? Be it bad brain chemistry, a tough youth, whatever. These are issues I've had to work out through my steps, and continually have to do till the day I die. Hopefully of natural causes and not relapsing or anything. Because if I relapse, I'm dead. I'm a dead man. Like I'll probably have 2 weeks to live, minimum. And the amount of destruction I'll be able to do in that 2 weeks is immeasurable. If I go out and I keep that fear in my head, it's a great motivator. You never
won't let you, Garrett. We won't let you.
Thanks, buddy. You never defeat alcoholism. You never defeat your demons. You cage them. You keep them at bay. And you keep them at bay by being happy, living a very happy, sober life. Sobriety is based, by the way. Just want to point that out. It's also not easy. So to have this, something that happen, even potentially happen, is concerning. And I hope it gets internally taken care of. And I hope it doesn't become a controversy, but it's starting to. And AA hasn't had one. And I'm way more concerned with the newcomers, right? Because again, you'll be amazed if you ever go to a meeting someday. If you're curious about it, go to a meeting.
I've heard good things.
See what it's like. They're really good, and they're filled with just regular people that you see, and they're packed. And these are people who've been sober from anywhere from 1 day to 50 years. Motherfuckers coming in with 50 years. I saw a guy get a 50-year cake. I was like, holy shit. So that's commitment. And going to that meeting and helping other people is part of your sobriety. It's a major part of your sobriety is giving back. And all you want to do is watch them turn their lives around. No agenda, nothing. Like what you like who you like, don't care, just want you to be sober and happy. That's all. So again, drugs, alcohol, symptom of a problem. And I don't think we should be, in most cases, sorry to say, because you know what part of AA? Rigorous honesty. And part of that is saying we don't really want to support any kind of mental illness that might be a symptom of a bigger problem. Just saying. I think participating in fantasies is not conducive to sobriety or mental health.
Or a denial of reality, because a denial of reality could even leak into the very thing you're dealing with. I mean, you are, as long as I've known you, Gary, and I knew you before I knew you, or no, wait, because we met like in WonderCon in 2010 or 11.
Yep.
Anyways, you've been brutally honest, in particular when it comes to yourself. So, yeah, I just think that that's a slippery slope to deny
Absolutely.
reality.
And that's the source of rigorous honesty. It's not with the world, it's with internal honesty.
Right.
Like, am I like when I'm not perfect at this, and I won't be ever, but if I'm in an argument or a disagreement, my first question is, am I fucking this one up? You know, like that's what it's got to be. It's got to be like, maybe I'm wrong here. Let me check first. You know, but that's me. So I it's not in every meeting. And honestly, it's like each meeting it's up to the people in charge of that general meeting. I go to like, I really like Al-Anon clubs and stuff where it's just a dedicated building for meetings. So it's got a vibe to it that I really like. And they have meetings all day and all kinds of meetings. There's Al-Anon is for normies. So where I get the term normie is somebody who's not an alcoholic or a drug addict. You're a normie. Like you can have a half a glass of beer and leave it on the bar or whatever and not think about it. You're a normie. You're fine. But normies are affected by alcoholics. So it's family members, partners, husbands, wives, and it's great for that. So there's Al-Anon. Then they do like CA. Cocaine Anonymous is the most fun. They have a hilarious preamble. They do a lot of, it's like the Saturday Night Live of meetings. Not a lot of sobriety in those, man. Cocaine's tough. Hell of a drug. Then there's NA. And whichever you prefer. I personally prefer AA, but that's my preference. So that's where I go. I go to an Al-Anon club where they have a dedicated place. They have a kitchen, good coffee, and just a lot of regulars, you know, so I feel it's got a good vibe. I don't want anything happening to that organization. It is one of the very few good organizations out there that has not been corrupted, that does nothing but good. Nothing but good. Powdered Toast Man for 20 says rewatched Alien and Aliens the last few nights, didn't see Rhombus. Last night watching Aliens, my dog was fully watching along with me. She really was locked in during the shootout in the med bay. You know, my dog gets locked in on certain things. But definitely if the dog hears the dog bark, it starts watching. It's like, ooh, what's that? Who was talking to me? The Flash Git for $20. Sorry I'm late. I was listening to The Return of the King. Hail. At the part where Pippin finds Mary on the battlefield. Such a great scene. So much heart. Hail the Nooner. Hail the chat. Hail my fellow graybeards. Hail to the graybeards. The Nets. I want to try to not say something else. The Netsrack. The Netsrack. For 200, you know what I could have said? For 200 Danish krona. First of and most important, thank you all three for doing what you do. Question for Gary: beard oil recommendations. Oh, I have some. I should probably. Didn't I send you some?
Yeah, I love your beard oil. I have other beard oils. Yours smells the best. I put it on. I feel so good. I'm running out. I got to buy more. I don't know where to buy it.
Well, yeah. If Melissa was around, I'd know. Yes, I have beard oil. I think we're working on it.
Yeah.
I think it's something like we're working on, but
it's branded. I have it.
Yeah. It smells manly. It has got a masculine smell. It's not perfumey, but the ladies love it.
I can confirm. The ladies love it.
Yeah. I know like 3 ladies who said they like the smell. So that anecdotally, I mean, like that means according to like Drunk 3PO, that's a lot of people. That's everyone.
Yeah.
Fucking Jay. Jay's catching strays right now. Everybody's attacking me in chat. It's like 3 people.
I love Jay.
I love Jay too. Get him to 100,000 subs. Let's get Jay to 100,000 subs. Where's he at?
Go and sub if you've not subbed already.
Yeah.
I've subbed from other email addresses.
Kuhaku for $19.99. This is proper British money. Disney Star Wars is Disney Star Wars. Lucas Star Wars is real Star Wars. Yes. There is no Star Wars. Stop dead naming Star Wars. It's Disney Star Wars. And I love that they hate it. Christian Goodwin for $20. Fallout TV show destroyed the lore and New Vegas. Yeah, a lot of people said that, including my son, my youngest. Fear the Tardo in 4 parts. Oh boy, here we go. Uh-oh, Tardo got food stuck in wastebasket. That okay though. Tardo big boy can foot unstuck by self. Sorry, interrupt show. Lock it in, yay. Tardo got good news and bad news. Good news is they got waste bucket unstuck. Bad news is that Tardo tried to see what got stuck. Now head stuck in wastebasket. This be bad day for Tardo. Lock it in, yay. Got worse for Tardo. While trying to get wastebasket off head, Tardo got club foot stuck in bucket and right foot stuck in potty. Help, Reggie. Right foot in potty hurt and wastebasket dark with no night light, which make Tardo scared. Make manners worse. Tardo need to make hot caca, but foot in way. Jay no home and Uncle Rai no return Tardo's calls. Please, Reggie, ask Jared Lee do wellness check on Tardo. Reggie be Tardo's only hope. Lock it in. Yay. Oh my God. Sorry, Tardo. You're on your own, buddy. You're on your own. Sarah Gould for $20. Does this mean that in a couple of years we'll start getting movies and TV from people who can actually identify their target audience again? Somewhat. There are good things out there. They're just not coming from Disney. You know, their Fox repurposed movies are making people happy, but they're not coming from Disney, right? There's The Gentleman. Tulsa King's going to be out in a couple weeks. There's good things out there. One Piece Season 2 is shooting right now. They're going to announce casting today. They're going to start announce additional casting today.
Oh, I know someone who's in it.
Who?
David Desmalchin is in it.
Really?
Yeah. He's such a good character actor.
Yep.
So yeah, it doesn't surprise me he's in the show.
No, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Hopefully we get it next year. But these long waits between streaming shows, like, you know, the Umbrella Academy just wrapped up with its 4th season. Do you know when that started? I think it was 2017, 16, 17.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah. They have to map this out better so there's less of a gap.
Yeah.
You know, a season ends, like this thing with House of the Dragon. What a disappointment. They're going to drag everything out. That it's just drag.
It was a huge, the strike made a bad HBO decision worse.
Yeah.
So they couldn't rewrite anything after they made the decision. That's what they're saying. I still would have just said, well, then end it with episode 7. That would have been a better ending. People would have been far more satisfied with that. And then split it in the 2. Like, do something to get around the strike. And yeah, strikes ruin TV shows. Strikes ruin careers. Strikes ruined Hollywood. And now they're paying the price.
Yeah.
David Hand for $50. I'll be 8.5 years sober next month. We do it one day at a time and not even one. Sometimes it's an hour at a time. Yeah. Congratulations, by the way.
Congrats.
8.5 years. Holy shit. Zach Fan 202 for $49.99. Rebel against Mark Hamill. Hail the Fellowship. Hail. Joe was talking about this to Dennis Quaid. He was talking about, when did the rebellion become the establishment? And, Quaid went back to and he's right. PC started creeping in the 90s, political correctness.
Yeah.
Started creeping in the 90s, a lot of that stuff. But it just went full bore in 2016. It just went mask off, full bore, insane in 2016. And yeah, the quote unquote rebels, the countercultural, we are the counterculture culture now because they're the establishment. They run everything. They gatekeep everything. They lost their mind when one guy took over one platform. Still are. They're losing their mind when one bad show got canceled when about 20 should have been.
Right.
Okay. A no-name reviewer for 10 British pounds. Hail, chat. A belated happy birthday, Gary. Thank you very much. I hope you like the little project that I made, showed last night on X. Took a little longer than expected, but being late and gay is normal around here. It's on brand. And thank you. Cheers. The cancellation of one, the cancellation of two, the cancellation of many. That's what it should have been. Congrats to all Star Wars fans and viewers. Yeah, take your victory lap. And I guess people are getting upset at our celebrating. Tough shit. I'm having fun. When you go after the fans, any respect is lost, completely lost. And you deserve your metaphorical verbal ass whooping. And maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll learn a lesson. Maybe you'll learn a lesson that it's not a good idea to cast producers who don't know anything about Star Wars or making television. Maybe it's not a good idea to cast technical workers who are based on the color of their skin instead of their technical skill. And maybe, bring back some of those writers you got rid of based on their skin color and just let the best people write. Hollywood should be the ultimate meritocracy. Same thing goes with making books, comics, games. Should be the ultimate meritocracy. Best of the best. Alien is my number one franchise. I was heartbroken when Mouse bought Fox, but what they did with Star Wars prepared me for it. Have you seen the assembly cut of 3? I have not, but I have listened to the audiobook of the original script, which I liked, said, for 50 Czechoslovakian pesos. Mirnum 007 for $9.99. Chris, wanted to ask you if you've heard The Lockdown and Art of 8 Limbs. Husband saw a double feature Sunday and liked them. So The Lockdown and The Art of 8 Limbs. I'll ask him when he gets back. The sound of their anguish is exquisite. Mwahaha, says Angry Shellback for $10. Ryan J. Gutierrez on the Streamlabs side for $5. Just wanted to know, I'm a pro comic artist with several books coming out, making a name in the industry, and I love you guys. We are becoming the culture. I'd like to send you my comics sometime. Not for a shout out, just to share, and hope you enjoy. Thank you. Sure, I'll thumb through them. You know what? If it's a hobby or if you're breaking your way in or if you're actually making money, that's great. Make sure to have fun doing it. It's kind of the most important part, is to have fun. And if something happens, something happens. Keep your expectations realistic. This is where the program has helped me a lot. One day at a time. Ask X-Ray Girl. I don't plan that far ahead.
Oh, it was so frustrating when we started working. Well, when I started working, I'm like, okay, 6 months later, we have this meetup. He's like, one meetup at a time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
One meetup at a time. I don't have the bandwidth to do all this planning. So it's just like, let's keep it like, I've got the next month kind of formulated in my head. I haven't shared it with anybody, but I mean, it's the Rings of Powers coming up, Agatha. So I got an idea, and that's normally not content creation. Content creation is, you either wait for a news story or you have a burning desire, right? That's another AA. Are there any burning desires to share? You have a burning desire, right? I had a burning desire to do that Alien review. I really did. I wanted to, I have to do this. because I really didn't like it, and I wanted to. I wanted to like it, Chris. I wanted to like it. I wanted it to be good. I really did. X-Ray, want a good scary game? Play Alien Isolation. Says Zed
I've
for 20
played it.
Swedish crowns.
Yeah.
There you go.
The entirety of it already. So
There you go.
yeah, I can play it again though.
Chris, have you seen? I guess they're the Lockdown and Art of Eight Limbs. Have you heard of these things?
I've heard of those movies. I haven't seen them. Although I did see a movie this week.
What's that?
I've seen it for a second time. It opens this weekend. I think you would love. It's called Strange Darling. It opens this weekend, a limited release. It is. Don't read anything about it. It's a story of a serial killer, and it's effing awesome. It's an indie movie. It's a small indie movie. But I did get to go to the premiere, and they were giving away these VHS tapes as if the movie was like an 80s VHS film. It is effing awesome. Do not read anything about the story. Just go in blind. You'll love it. It's. I think Mrs. Neurotic would like it.
She probably would.
Strange Darling. Look for it.
B Chain 315 for $10. Hail Gary Gore and X-Ray Agoo. Love my Wednesday nooners. Doesn't everybody? Do you guys think concept albums could be made for good movies? The Wall was interesting. My inner Rush nerd wants 2112 done properly. I think they're really of their time, but if you did a 2112 and like mashed it up with like heavy metal, that would be fucking awesome.
I was obsessed with that album as a kid, like learning the lyrics and the story. It's like a dystopian. Like, I mean, I would love that, but
the fact that we don't get concept albums anymore just tells you the health of music, of the music industry, right? It's so disposable now, and it's sad. Yeah. You know, it's like the concept album was this, and like a lot of them are bloated and pretentious. I get it, but I freaking loved it. And the art of an LP of vinyl, you just can't beat it. You can't beat like it's a time long past. Vinyl's made its comeback. Dude, I got tons of vinyl now. Tons of vinyl.
I am getting into vinyl, but I love concept albums, like you were saying. That the Who, Tommy,
hell yeah!
I went to the movies with that.
Dude, I saw them workshop that play at the La Jolla Playhouse, and Pete Townsend was there. The play's pretty good. The movie. That's the first movie to scare the living shit out of me. Was Who's Tommy? I saw it when I was like 5. My sister and my mom took me, and like I wouldn't let anybody babysit me. I'm like, fuck no. No. It's
weird. I saw it when I was in high school, but I can see if you saw that movie as a kid, it would be disturbing. Like Elton John and that weird.
Well, Keith outfit. Moon, you know, fiddle about. Yeah. I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
And then Pete Townsend. Well, so we won't discuss that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But concept albums, I for the most part, I liked them. You know, they're you smoke a couple of bowls and kick back and listen to 2112. Those were the days. If I could only stick to those couple of bowls, but I didn't. Danny Tapman for $5. Borderlands 4, the video game, was announced yesterday. Oh, right on the heels of the biggest flop of the year. Fantastic. Not sure if it is a distraction reaction from Gearbox, the developers. I bet it is. Or they actually wanted to launch the next installment of the legs of that god-awful movie. Off the legs off that god. Either way, apathetic to the news. Yeah. Yep. Snowdub for $10. What's up, Snowdub? How you doing? How's Arizona? My Doberman suddenly died Monday. Well, no, not that little cute one. No. That fucking sucks. I met that dog at Fan Expo. I'm having the worst couple of days of my life. I'm sorry, brother. But I wanted to thank you, Gary, for your videos and live streams. They're helping me keep my mind off it. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Oh, that blows. Yeah, I just lost a dog too, but man, that was a little puppy. That was a little guy. R.I.P. Doberman. Tahoot 76 for $4.99. I see their anger at the Acolyte being canceled as a win. They are slowly realizing that no, they don't outnumber us. Chris, are you going to Dragon Con? Of course he is.
I am. As a matter of fact, I just tweeted about I'm doing a meetup, a film threat meetup. I'm doing a panel, and then I am dressing in costumes. I am. It's the only thing. I wear like weird, subtle costumes. It doesn't really like a costume, but yeah. Look, check out my Twitter. There's a tweet from Film Threat. I just retweeted it. So, yeah, I'll be there.
Ripley trying to get away from the alien and getting closer to it more and more. I will never stop loving that. Sigourney is amazing in all of them. She's great. She's great. Yeah. Zed, thank you for the 50 sweet Czechoslovakian pesos. The tweets that were going around about media literacy and shit over the last week, and it goes all the way back to like there was one, and Mahler and I talked about it. People throw up a couple of frames or a quick scene. That's the best scene in a shitty fucking movie and go, this is cinema. They canceled the Eternal sequel. Look what they took from us. And, it's just like, no, they suck. They're not cinema. And it's just a bunch of weird cope. But with the alien stuff, it was pretty funny because if you liked it as just like a fun, dumb slasher, I could kind of understand that. But logically, they found the xenomorph from the first Alien floating in space.
Yeah.
Near the wreckage of the Nostromo. That is impossible. For one, yes. Due to being in the void, certain pieces, most of the Nostromo would still be traveling because it blew. Yeah. If there were pieces, they're still moving because they were propelled by a nuclear explosion. And the alien would be moving too. But aside from that, that's so impossible. That is so impossible when you could have it's another experiment. That's all you needed to do. It was some experiment. You don't even need to explain it. They were engineering their own face huggers. They extracted it from something, whatever. But to purposefully shoehorn that in is retarded.
That was dumb.
Apparently, George R. Martin said in an interview, his biggest regret is not finishing the books. Don't we all want to scream and say, finish the fucking books then? Hail to the men and women of the fellowship. Noons for $184.99. What he really wanted to say was, I wish I had the desire to finish the books, because he could have finished the books by now. He's got too many distractions. He should be just writing this book. And apparently he's going to be involved in writing Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which will probably make it pretty good, to be honest with you. But it means we won't get Wins a Winner. There was a video came out, I forgot who it was. Just gave the whole history on it. It's not coming out. I know there's still people holding out hope. It's not coming out.
You think it's done?
I think he's frozen. I think he doesn't know how to end it. I think he doesn't know where to go. I think he's so concerned about my dogs are barking.
Dogs.
He's so concerned about where to end it with Dream of Spring. I just think subconsciously he just doesn't want to finish it. He just keeps it unfinished. And he keeps editing and editing. There's a point where, like, creatively, you can edit the shit out of your thing, but you just got to move on. You just got to, like, not get hung up on this one thing and move on, right? And then, like, if it's really that bad, you go back and visit it later, but you move on with the project. But, yeah, 13 plus years. Grand Wazoo 42 for 10 euros. Thanks for sharing your thoughts about your journey with us, Gary. Keep it up. Keep it going, and you will. I am sure of it. Thank you. One day at a time. Thank you. Demon monkeys have taken the steering wheel. They have. Potbelly goblins. The worst is people who stand in front of doorways. At cons. Yes.
At cons.
Josh. Yes. Thank you, Josh.
Yes.
I got to find this video, Chris. It was in 2013. And I had a great camera shot. So I had my camera laying on the floor at Comic-Con, and it was before. So I had a retailer pass. So I'm there before it opens. And remember, they let the handicap people in first, right? So the doors open, and I've got a floor camera shot, perfectly framed, David Lean style. So you have this up view of the doors opening and all these wheelchairs coming in, and then I put the William Tell overture over it. It's the funniest shit you've ever seen, dude. I gotta find it. It's terrible, but it is fucking funny. And we showed it in the store. So a few customers in my store, if you're out there, you might remember it. And we had a good giggle over it. But yeah, Comic-Con. There's an etiquette book out there, which probably people should read.
The link. There are a couple things I put in.
Vagabundo Devon for $10. Hail, my fellow bearded brothers, and hail X-Ray Girl. See you next week, Chris. See you next week.
Oh, yeah.
SP of the North for $9.99. The irony is lost on the orange-haired, gender-confused, visually unpleasant young woman when she refers to people as incel. No one is more incel than she, they, it. Yeah, that term incel is just low effort, and really throwing it around in nerddom shows that you're not a nerd. Thunderstorm for $4.99. Woke is the head cheese and black licorice entertainment. Was the editor of the Acolyte a villain editing out context or hero trying to give context? That's a good question. Or just really bad. Snowdub for $2. Not the puppy you met, my 6-year-old boy. I'm sorry. Still sorry. Thanks, Snowdub. David Smart for $10. Hey, Gary, happy birthday. And hail, I need to ask, non-attack question. I need to ask how you like Deadpool 3. It was awful. We didn't get Wolverine versus Hulk. We got cheap cameos, shit beginning and ending. I liked it because of Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. They carried the movie. It's nowhere near good as Deadpool and Wolverine. And I wouldn't have expected Hulk versus Wolverine. If anything, we'll get that in Secret Wars. But like they fucked up Hulk so badly. The best Hulk movie, Avengers. Even with Mark Ruffalo, that is the best Hulk movie, is the Avengers. Bear Grimm for $5. If Harvey Weinstein is Don Draper and Leslie Hedland is Peggy, the ugly secretary, so he keeps his fingers off of her. Yeah. Wish I could afford more. Never stop. Oh, Kara, you don't have to do that all. Thank you. Thank you for the £2. 2 British pounds. Kara. Cheers. Great show as usual, says Bombinator. 53 for $10. Thank you, Bombinator. Ching Chong Ping Pong. Ching Chong Ping Pong for $13.37. It's X-Ray Girl's cousin. As opposed to your other cousin, Ping Pong Ching Chong. So there's Ching Chong Ping Pong, Ping Pong Ching Chong.
Don't get them confused.
And they're both really good at ping pong. Coincidentally enough. For a time, Mass Effect was the dude bro franchise of the modern era, but they ruined it with Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda. Hail, have Mahler or Az told me about it? I fucking played that shit. Like all the way through. So much so I completely forgot about it. No, they have not. Johnny 718 Bravo for $2. 180 million. Seriously, where did the money go? If it went up somebody's nose with a bunch of cocaine, that would make sense. Make it make sense. Enochmamon in 2 parts for $10. Hi, Gary. You've read more Moon Knight than me. I know Moon Knight was originally Batman with an Uzi, but he evolved or devolved to some into a character whose many aliases gave him a split personality. Did he find a cure for that? I'm asking for a friend, not that I know of, because I didn't read that far in. As far as I know, they're still doing that, and I fucking hate it. I like David Finch's, did a Moon Knight back in the mid-aughts, but like the Sienkiewicz, Mark Spector Moon Knight is the GOAT. What's that? Shut up, Dave Filoni's dog. This isn't your body. It's mine. I'm in control. I'm in control. Sorry about that. That was nothing. Don't worry about it. Lock it in, yay. I mean, good day. I'm controlled, Tardo. Sorry. See you later. He's in control. Jam 55 for, I'm hearing background noise. Lots of background noise. There we go. Is there an Alien TV series coming out next year? They were talking about it, Chris.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. It's on FX. I have some info about it.
Who's running it? Who's running the show?
I don't know. I'm going to find it.
Skinny Cartman. Hey, maybe it's like a Terminator.
I think it's called Alien Earth, and it's set in 2092.
Ooh.
They have a timeline with all this stuff.
The Terminator TV show was great. I loved it. Skinny Cartman for $4.99. Even character names George chose were historical and had meaning. They were not random. Yes. David Smart for $2. I hope Beetlejuice will be great. I hope so. I think that one has potential because it's just Beetlejuice, right? So, and it seems like Michael Keaton's like really into this. And with the success of Wednesday on Netflix, dude, that was a massive hit. That was a fucking massive hit. Yeah. So I think, Tim Burton kind of going back to his just weird Tim Burton roots. I think it could be fine. Is Danny Elfman doing the music, doing the soundtrack?
Oh, I'm sure he is. But Burton was quoted as saying, yeah, it's politically incorrect. Like the character is politically incorrect.
Yeah.
So what are you going to change all that?
No.
So I think I think most people are just sort of based. A lot of people that sort of pretend to care about all the politics are like pretend. They don't really believe it. They do. They say they do to get hired, but most people don't care.
But Beetlejuice looks all right. I got no problem with it so far. The God of Gravy for $9.99. The Acolyte's dead and will weep for it in the press. Set up a scholarship in its name eventually. And I'm talking way, way down the road. We file an insurance claim. There you go. Aaron Pipes for $5. Leslie was so incompetent. She did not know stone won't burn. And yet you can't have a campfire in space. Exactly. Verisimilitude. Our boy Rob likes the verisimilitude. Matthew Faction, 1993 for 10 Canadian pesos. They should make House of the Dragons final season into a movie, maybe like a 3-part TV movie, just like the Demon Slayer in doing for its final arc. I don't think you could, because the ending of House of the Dragon largely is aftermath. Because once the all-out war starts, it doesn't last very long. And it's brutal. It's brutal. Lots of death. Lots and lots and lots of death.
So apparently some theaters showed a teaser for Alien Earth. I put the link in the private, and I'm getting it. It's I guess I don't know. It could be interesting.
When's it coming out?
It's on FX, likely arriving in 2025 from series creator Noah Hawley from Legion.
Oh, that's right. It's Noah Hawley.
Yeah. So
it has potential.
It's set 30 years before the events of the original Alien. I don't know if you want to watch the teaser, but
can we?
It was filmed in a theater, but
it's a video of a video.
Yeah, I better not. But you can direct people to it if you want.
Yeah.
All right. Noah Hawley did a good job on Legion till that when Hollywood went crazy, and it went lame at the end. But the first 2 seasons, pretty fucking good. Matthew Hammond for $4.99. When does Disney stop spending money on Star Wars because it only loses money? We might be close to that.
Yeah.
Look for budgets to maybe creep back down. Like Alien Romulus was $80 million budget, dude. Like that's realistic, and it's going to make money. It's absolutely going to make money because of that budget.
It looks great.
Yep.
That's no one complained about the look. It looked amazing.
Luke von Karsten for €5 says, "Hey Gary, my name is Aaron, and I really want to do art, but my family called me useless for pursuing my dreams. I am really depressed and confused." That's not a very supportive family. You're useless. You're not useless. Pursue your dreams. Do it practically. Set practical goals, and check your family for saying that. In the American term, checking somebody is check yourself. Like, what the fuck are you saying? Fuck you. But remember, they're your family, and sometimes we can't choose them. Sometimes they want the best for you, so I don't know the context for that, but I put them in check for that one a little bit. Cuddly Texan for $9.99. Disney bought Fox. Fox owned MASH. Klinger is now a Disney princess. Greetings from Cyprus. What's up? Demise for €10. Your reach is far and wide. We discuss your videos at work each week, and we are glad to see that the actual fans do not remain silent against the weirdos destroying what we love. Hail, Cyprus. We got to get over there. One of the places we got to go. Let's go, Star Wars Dude Bros, says JC King for $2. Let's go. Dude Bros. That's hilarious. Magnum Norris for $10. It's been a threat to our democracy, but not your democracy. Yes. Well, we actually have a republic. But Felix or Fortunate One for $9.99. First time super. Thank you for the great banter. As for Disney Star Wars, they need to realize that Gen X and millennial men are the core fan base, and no Star Wars and a way corporate shills never will. Exactly. And the fact that you're bringing millennials together with Gen Z, man, you're doing something really fucking bad. Mark Van Lerdum for $5. The show was meant to scare off all the so-called bigots and racists. Well, it did, and this is the result. Yet it's still the fault of the so-called bigots and racists. Star Wars fans can't win. No, they can't. They can't win. Disney can't win either. Keep in mind that the Marvels, where they blamed men, was watched by mostly men. The Acolyte was watched by mostly men. I don't have the data, but I can say that with certainty. Doctor Who, watched by mostly men, older men. Star Trek, watched by mostly men, older men. And when I say mostly, 85%, 75%, maybe Star Trek 70%. DJ for $10. Sad part is Dude Bros don't win. We lost the day Iger signed that check. Yep. Wayward Noodle for $5. Firefly only got one season. Kick rocks. Randy Noms for $5. People who trade good storycraft for throwing the old fans under the bus are toxic fans 100%. Yep. Snakes and Funerals for $5. One day at a time, brother. Right back at you. Tyler Chubb for $5. Hey, did that Echo show ever come out? I don't remember. Yeah, we haven't heard much about it. But it did come out this year. Disney dropped all the episodes at once to give it a leg up. But ultimately, it went off the reservation.
Oh, my God.
I lost my button. Hang on. Nope, that's not it. There we go. And now fives and tens of fans are on the warpath. It was a huge gamble and they lost. Now they walk the trail of tears. Philip Butler for $1.99. I got sober in 1987. There were 2 preambles we used. Yeah, that's... I've always used... Everywhere I've gone, it's been men and women. And maybe they changed it to people in other meetings. I honestly can't remember or say I thought much about it. So that's why, it just depends on the meeting you go to. Like in the heart of San Francisco, they're probably going to do that, but they're not going to do that here in Texas. They're just not. So, Megatobi09 for $4.99. Thank God Acolyte is canceled. Hopefully Rings of Power is next. I'm starting to like cancel culture. Well, yeah. Was it Puck News reported that Laura Croft might be in trouble? The Phoebe Waller-Bridge Laura Croft might be in trouble.
Maybe,
it should be.
Yeah. Do you think there is some thinking in Hollywood now of like, let's let these shows die. Let's get back to what we do best. Entertainment for everyone. You know, I kind of get the feeling it's the tide is turning just ever so slightly, but I don't think Mark Hamill got the memo. It's so divisive what he said. I know you talked about it, but
It
pissed me off.
But I mean, like it's unsurprising coming from he's a paid actor. He is out there performing a role right now. He's being paid. I'm sure he believes it too. I don't doubt for a minute that that's what he believes, but he's, to be this provocative and to slip it into cons, he's getting fucking money from it because the guy's, just living off of Star Wars, and now he's using it as a platform. Magna Quam for $4.99. Favorite AA-ism: drinking drugs aren't your problem. They're your solution. So what is your problem? This changed everything for me. Corey Wilson for $2. Disagree with AA Zoom, sober for 964 days from Zoom. Hey, good for you. Good for you. If it works for you, that's great. Didn't work for me. But if it works for you, then do it. Don't listen to me. Mark Bravos for 100 Danish krona. Guys, what if Hollywood made traditional movies for the majority and then added, e.g., 5 to 10 minute post-credit spin-off scenes for the woke mob that normals could use or not? Could that be a solution? It's all about desire in Hollywood, and there is no desire to change yet, but financially they might be forced into it. But there was never a desire to change because, man, we're just going against the market right now. Raylo Normie for $1.99. First time, huh? Firefly fans, spoiled ass Gen Z. Well, big difference is Firefly, really fucking good show that led into a movie that gave it an ending. Acolyte, forgettable garbage. What is this? Noctober for $9.99. Love your facts, man. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Cheers. Syndic for $2. I recommend the show Louder Milk to you, Gary. I will check. I know that show. I'll check it out. Joey Fouts for $2. Why does Jeremy always bail on FNT? It's political season. Jeremy's got 1,000 irons in the fire usually. But he'll be back. Keaton Bailey for $1. Thank you. Mo Zamboni for $10. Lucas von Karsten. Look at the stories of the other artists, namely Alfonso Mucca and Drew Struzan. No support, but they believed in themselves and they are the GOATs. You could do it. F the haters. F the haters. Yep. Bent Corn Farm for $5. I highly recommend that everyone watches what is this? Anaslees?
I think it's Anaslees.
Anaslees. 2 videos about Mr. Beast, especially the newest one. It has new unthinkable allegations against Mr. Beast. Go check it out. He's having a tough time. Waka Waka Doo for $2. Why not go back to the derelict? The beacon was on. The beacon was on. Zed for 20 Czechoslovakian pesos. Gary, I meant all 4 Ripley movies, not Romulus. Gotcha. I understood that. I did. Garth Knight for $4.99. The Acolyte was ridiculous fun for those of us looking for a laugh. I will miss all the laughs, but it was of its time. Yes, it was. And now its time is over. Garth Knight for $4.99. Jeremy Griggs, the homosexual. Blueprint loves Moon Knight. Rest in peace, straight Jeremy Griggs. What, the TV show? It was awful.
It's not Jeremy Prime. That's not his name. People are dumb.
The ratings for Echo went up in smoke. Nick Brony for $1.99. Jacko for $4.99. Chris or Nerdrotic. Disney Star Wars has lost millions. So what is the logical explanation as to why Kathleen Kennedy is still in charge? Well, that one's easy, but you go, Chris.
She's a woman, and you can't fire a woman from a job in that high of a position.
And
an awful person.
You can't fire a woman that was placed in that position by George Lucas, who has worked for decades with Steven Spielberg, whose name is on Academy Award-winning films with tons and tons of juice, political capital, and probably some dirt. And there's probably something contractual that makes it very difficult or expensive to fire. And firing Kathleen Kennedy, imagine if they actually did it. Like she was fired like Victoria Alonso. That would cause a shitstorm, a complete shitstorm within Hollywood. How could you?
Right. Yeah, maybe that's what we need. You don't hear about big studio heads. They never fire. They never get fired. They get a deal.
Sunsetted.
And sunset. So they get an office on the lot. They have a production deal, development deal. They're moving to that. It would be done in a non-humiliating way. It would be done like it was a win, but not she wouldn't be fired for failures. She would get,
There's also Disney saving face. They don't like to admit to failure for anything. And then even Kathleen Kennedy leaving with a golden parachute and awards, with people would still go, they booted her out the door.
Yeah.
Lily Von Stupp for $4.99. For whoever enjoyed The Gentleman, check out The Brassic, Brassic. It's good fun. Well-written episodes of British TV. I will check it out. Damn, The Gentleman's good. Damn, that's a good show. Jason D for $2. All signs point to No Echo season 2. Kathleen Kennedy, put a chick in it and make her gay and lame. Alfredo SL for 100 Mexican dollars. And that's where we wrap it up.
Hey man, happy birthday.
Thanks.
I know I don't do birthday tweets or obit tweets or I avoid Twitter like whatever, but like I did chime in and wish you a happy birthday in one of the the many birthday threads.
Thank you.
And
it's over now.
But I feel the same way probably you do. It's like, thank you. I'm good. I don't like to be the center of attention, oddly, doing this kind of thing. But so there you go. And next week, I am gonna be I won't be able to be on the whole stream because my flight is like at 12:30 to Dragon Con.
We'll work it out.
I could be on the show and then at the beginning, and then I got a bolt to get to the airport next week.
We'll work it out.
But I can't wait. We'll
1 week at a time. I'm still on this week.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still on this week. So my next focus, I'm going to be on Open Bar tomorrow. So that's the next thing I think about. Yeah.
I listen to Open Bar. I love it. I'll watch.
So, cool. Well, enjoy Dragon Con, my friend. Be good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Be good.
Definitely.
Don't get into too much trouble.
Don't get into too much trouble.
Some trouble. But and Hollywood on the Rocks today in 90 minutes, me and Alan Ng, we will be talking Acolyte news and a couple other things. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
So please join us on Hollywood on the Rocks.
X-Ray Girl. What do you got coming up?
Ooh. I'm going to be playing the extremely racist Black Myth game made by commies just for fun. So I'm excited. That'll be right after this show. So, yeah.
I'm debating about getting that game. I haven't bought a game in a while that it looks just like a good, fun thing.
I'm gonna game at my leisure. I got to see if it's here yet. Hang on.
Oh,
let me check eBay.
PS2 game.
My PS2 game. Yeah. Aragorn's Quest. Yeah. So that should arrive today. I got it for $9.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm getting all the Lord of the Rings, old Lord of the Rings games. But
Make sure to play Gollum. I hear that's
my Batman cereal box came here too with the Batman Bank.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I got that. And your Regal popcorn bucket, Alien Romulus Xenomorph head popcorn bucket arrived.
Oh, dude.
Arrived. It is arrived.
Thank
so
you so much.
I
That's
got it
awesome.
for you. That's pretty cool looking. I got the other one, the light up one. That's the one I'm gonna keep. The one with the face hugger on it. That lights up.
Nice.
Yeah. Other than that, what do we got? You're
Two
gonna
more
say
soups.
something. Okay. You go.
Do you want to read it?
You read
Okay.
'em.
Garth Knight for $9.99. Jeremy Prime's hold on the universe was compromised by these recent blue moons. The homosexual Griggs captured the moment to wish Gary a happy birthday. So gay.
I like the way you said it before. Jeremy Prime's hole.
Oh God.
What did Jeremy Prime come back from? Why is that back in the news?
I don't.
Someone thought Prime was his last name.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's almost good. That's like, yes, it's my last name. Totally. It's my last name. You got it right.
It's
Yep.
hilarious.
Yep. Guardian X for €10 says, greetings go out to a girl with a dark saber. Oh, okay. Not
I'm
sure how to
married.
take that one.
I'm married. That's all I'm going to say. Not into girls with dark sabers. Just saying. Even if I wasn't married. As maybe? I don't know.
Oh, and I'm probably going to need you to read this one because this is in a Trump voice and I'm not very good at impersonating Trump.
I'm not good
Disney-
at it either.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I'll do it, but yeah.
Disney executive
I'm not good at
Trump for $1. Do you see the message down there?
Guys, I've recently been elected to board of Disney. Crazy Kathy is out. Bumbling Bob gone. Creepy Dave Filoni, him and his Ahsoka dolls have been cleansed. The most beautiful cleansing. We replaced Mark Hamill with Tim Allen, and we are making a new series with Gina's character. An excellent series. Gina Carano, fine woman, great woman, good people. There you go.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
All right, so yeah, I'll be on Open Bar. A Star Wars theory is going to be on. So Mahler, Drinker, me, Star Wars theory, and probably some other people. Sorry, don't know who else is on, but I'll be there tomorrow. And I will, just going to go out and water some plants and walk the dog for the rest of the day, pretty much.
In 106-degree heat.
It's only 104.
Sounds
It'll be
perfect.
106 in about an hour. It's 104
going
right
down.
now. It's 100. No, it's going up. It gets
Oh,
hotter
it's going up.
as the day goes on. So there you go. Thanks to all the Nerdrotics for doing some fine work. Thank you, everyone who left a super chat and donation. You help keep the lights on here. We appreciate you. Thanks to all the lurkers and participants in chat. Thanks to all the haters watching. We appreciate every view we get. You taking valuable time out of this brief instance on this earth to watch us. We are eternally grateful. We will see you next time.
Bye.